is Joy News Prime.
From wherever you are watching, welcome to the most authoritative and comprehensive television news package in Ghana. Coming up in this edition, shock and horror as a family of 5 is killed in what is believed to be an acid attack in New Dwabing. Vice presidential candidate of the MPP, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, tears the government's economic policy statement for the year 2016 apart, saying the Mahama administration has only been competent as running the economy down. In their continuing protest against new policy on exams, students of Wesley College in Kumasi have smeared human excreta on some of their classrooms.
And in business tonight, MTN wins 4G spectrum auction, the first major telecom provider in the country to be offered an LTE license in Ghana.
Under fire, Chief Executive of the Youth Employment Agency fends off allegations of mismanagement and discrimination. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Francisca Kakra-Forsen. Thanks for staying. There were horrific scenes in Koforidua on Wednesday morning when a neighborhood woke up to the sight of 5 people dead in their small room. The 5, a man, his wife and 3 children, appeared to have been doused in acid, which possibly led to their death. The question many are asking is why? Correspondent Edwin Kofisian has been following the story and joins us with the very latest. Good evening to you and thanks for joining us, Edwin. Tell us first about the states in which these bodies were found.
The landlady of the victims, she is by name Comfort Watson, told me that they got up this morning to find the dead bodies of Kwame Asare, who is 50 years old, and Ma Jane, the wife, who is also 40 years old, a trader, and 3 children in dead in their room. So they currently cannot tell what exactly caused their death. But according to the landlord, when they alerted the police and they came in, the police told them that they died of acid bath attack. That is what the account of the landlady, Comfort Boatin, and that is what she told me.
Now, can you tell us the condition, because it appears there's a lot of acid?
Yes. According to the woman, they overheard the husband, that is Kwame Asare, and his wife, Ma Jane, involved in the confrontation. They picked up a quarrel last night, and they overheard the husband telling the woman that he was going to kill him. So they came in and settled the matter. But when they got up this morning, they found out that the family have been killed. So they suspect that with the threat that the man gave to the wife, that really has caused the death of the family. So that is what the woman is telling me. But when I spoke to the Deputy Eastern Regional Police Commander, Deputy Eastern Regional Public Relations Officer, that is Sergeant Gideon Boateng, he told me that for now they cannot tell whether the man killed the family or not, because as of now, all of them are dead and no one is available to give an account of what really transpired. So they are still conducting investigation as to what caused the death. So that is what the police are currently saying.
All right, thank you very much. That's Eastern Region correspondent Edwin Kofisian there. Now, police in Namasamang are building a case against the man who allegedly stole an AK-47 assault rifle from a police officer. The suspect, Anthony Agbozo, reportedly went on to rent the stolen weapon to violent criminals. He was arrested at Pokuase upon a tip-off. Now, the Amasaman District Police Commander, DSP Elvis Sadongo, told the media that the rifle was reported missing about 6 months ago.
I On the 26th of June, we posted one of our staff to a duty point within the municipality, Amasama municipality, and he came to report the following morning that he could not find his weapon. And so we used the normal processes to report to our superiors. About 2 weeks ago, we got wind that the rifle was somewhere, and we set our intelligence machinery into motion. One of our colleagues who was leading the team informed us that he has successfully retrieved the weapon from a suspect. The suspect duly arrested. And so that briefly, that is what happened. We are going to ascertain certain facts, follow up on other issues, related issues, to ensure that we actually get to the bottom of the matter, because we are aware that he's not operating alone. And series of interrogations led to the fact that he has admitted that yes, the weapon was in his possession. He has told us how the weapon came into his possession, and that is what our point of interest is so much, and we are going to follow up on that and other persons that he has been operating with. And whatever we find as a result of our extended investigation, we shall let you know.
These 6 we usually 10 for him, which these 6 are not part of this 10 issued to him. These 2 are part of the 10 issued to him. They have added 8 different relation to we added to this building.
The 2 they might have used that one.
They have used, this is hours and this is days. So they have used 8 of hours and has added 6 of days. So they cut it here, so that they can put it in their other sack or any other thing.
Some students of Wesley College of Education, WESCO, have littered some classrooms with human excreta a day after a demonstration against a new policy prohibiting multiple resets of examinations. Love FM's Erastus Asari Donko has been to the scene and joins us on the telephone lines. Erastus, not a pleasant odor you have visited, but tell us about the extent of damage caused by this incident.
Well, the only damage is that of the school environment, the classroom, and the chairs and tables that were affected but smeared with human excreta. And this action is coming as a surprise to many of the students I spoke with, who say they never anticipated that their colleagues go to that extent. And the officials are also a bit disturbed, but they are confident that these are just a few students who have engaged in this act, and they have already started investigations to fish them out.
Now, tell us, what are the school authorities saying?
Well, I tried to speak with the principal, Mr. Joshua Fanier, who is out of the city in Accra for an emergency meeting of principals, but his assistant was the one who spoke to me off record, but he's saying that they are okay with it. They are just going to do their investigation. At the end of the day, the students themselves have cleaned the classroom, and they have decided to write the quiz that they had today, and so they have no further problem, except to say that they have initiated their own investigation. They have also asked the police to keep a skeleton personnel on campus to check any further cause of damage.
All right, we'll leave it here. Thank you very much. That's Erastus Asari Donko from Love FM in Kumasi. And we'll stay with this topic because the Dean of Education and Leadership at the University of Ghana has defended the policy against multiple exam resets in colleges of education across the country. Students of Wesley College of Education in Kumasi staged what turned out to be a violent demonstration on Tuesday against the policy. But Professor Jonathan Fletcher says the policy has come to stay and it is meant to weed out bad students.
I think we have two ways of maintaining quality. The first way is to ensuring that people who get onto the program, are qualified. That's one way of doing it. The second way is to make sure that anybody who leaves the program is qualified. Because what happens is that if you don't do that, then you are not protecting society. Yeah. Now, these days it's been very difficult because of examination malpractice and so on. It's been very difficult to control the entry because people come in with entry qualifications, that you say great. They get onto the program and they are not able to pull their weight. Now, it seems to me that it is fair to actually use the system that is in place to make sure that people either develop when they start the program, and if they are not able to cope, in the interest of society, to make sure and tell them that, look, this program, we don't think we can leave you as a teacher and go out there. You cannot do the work. And I think so. For me, it's important to see from that point that we have a responsibility to protect society by making sure that the teachers we release into the system are good. And the only way to do it is to use the assessment system. Yeah, because once they come in, you can't do anything. They've got a qualification, you can't do anything. So it's through the assessment. So you actually try and regulate the exit. And if you do that, it's a way. Of course, you have to do it fairly, and you have to make sure that it's accurate. But once it's accurately done, then I think it's good that the people who cannot become teachers should not be made teachers.
But they are agitating. They say they've earned it. They are in there. They want you to give them another chance, a third chance, if you like, to resit the papers they trail. Yeah. Would that ever happen?
Well, I think the difficulty here is that it's like saying that, well, I want to become a doctor and I want to operate on people. Now, I've done that twice and I've failed, and give me a third chance. Fine. I mean, yeah. But you see, the truth of the matter is that if the people come in with the right qualification, they wouldn't have that problem. That's my experience. And I've been in business, education business for a long, long time. If the people who come in with the right qualification and they have actually earned the qualification do not struggle. The people who struggle are people who, one way or the other, are in the program, well, who shouldn't be there. And so it seems to me that we have a responsibility. We have a social responsibility to protect society, because you wouldn't want somebody who cannot pass, a professional examination to actually, deal with your children or people like things like that. So we need to make sure that the right people are actually released into the system, as it were, to become teachers. Yeah.
You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Francisca Kakra Force. We'll take a break at this point. We've got lots more coming up. Welcome back to Joy News Prime. The vice presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has criticized government's handling of the economy. Addressing the media and some party faithful in Accra in response to the government's economic policy statement for 2016, Dr. Bawumia warned that the Mahama administration will only lead Ghana into further economic decline.
The 2016 budget is a continuing story of more taxes, more cuts in expenditure, more borrowing, high utility tariffs, higher cost of living, less growth, and more unemployment. Also, the 2016 budget is not different from the 2012 election year in the way government has padded the allocation of resources to the Office of Government Machinery. The administration sector is the only subsector in this budget to have its allocation increased by 58.4%, whereas all the others have had negative allocations. So that, the MPP in its 8-year, from taxes and loans, from its 8 years in office, accumulated resources from just these two sources of 20 billion Ghana cedis. The NDC, from loans, resources, and taxes and oil, accumulated 200 billion. Now, what have they respectively been able to do with their resources? Now, when you look at the MPP period, and it's important for us to set the record straight, the projects were massive, you know, with very little resources. But the government found a way. Of course, the financial sector reforms and so on were legitimate. What is clear from the foregoing is that with much less resources at its disposal and without oil, the investment in infrastructure under the MPP, along with social interventions, was massive, with many times more resources than the MPP. The question is, what has the NDC done with all the resources under its control over the last 7 years?
Dr. Bawumia also criticized the government's record on the fight against corruption as woefully abysmal.
We have to admit that this NDC government is very competent at the following. They are very competent at mismanaging the economy. This government is very competent at creating, looting, and sharing. This government is very competent at propaganda. This government is very competent at perpetuating doomsday. This government is very competent at increasing unemployment. It is very competent at collapsing the NHIS. It is very competent at cancelling teacher trainee allowance. Very competent at cancelling nursing training allowance. It is very competent at not meeting statutory payments. It is very competent at not paying contractors. The new government is very competent at making Sada Guinea fowls run to Burkina Faso. This government is very competent at collapsing industries. It is very competent at collapsing agriculture. It is very competent at causing massive exchange rate depreciation. It is very competent at accumulating unsustainable debt. It is very competent at causing high interest rates. And most importantly, it is very competent at failing to fulfill its promises. As a matter of record, we want to reiterate that not only do we say that this government is incompetent, we also said that the government is very corrupt. Yes. But it looks like His Excellency the President was only upset about the incompetence bit and not the corruption bit, for reasons that we are not yet been told. But possibly, his failure to protest at this other description is an acceptance of a generally accepted belief that he has lost the fight against corruption.
In conclusion, Dr. Bawumia repeated the accusation that the Mahama administration has been incompetent and urged Ghanaians to vote for change in 2016.
The government promised an allocation of 100 million Ghana cedis a year to SADA for 20 years. This is their flagship Northern Development Program. The allocation in the 2015 budget was 25,000 Ghana cedis. And when we complained, the allocation in the 2016 budget was a significant zero. The government denied that it had defaulted on repayment of loans to the African Development Bank, only to be found out by the evidence. The government denied that it had used the 2014 1 billion Eurobond proceeds to repay the Bank of Ghana debt until they were exposed by the facts. They promised that doom so will be a thing of the past in 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, have you asked whatever has happened to the understandings reached at the Senchi consensus? Do you remember the Senchi Accord and what was contained in it? What happened to those understandings? It turned out, as we knew, to be a propaganda exercise. The government has no credibility. The government denied when we said that they will soon go to the IMF. Today, they are denying that they will lay off civil servants in 2017. They promised to make Ghana the cleanest country in West Africa. Today, according to UNICEF, Ghana has placed second in the cholera ranking in West Africa, with 28,944 cases. The 2016 budget, ladies and gentlemen, that was submitted to Parliament has apparently been replaced by another budget because the original budget was full of errors. This really is not the hallmark of a serious government. Fellow Ghanaians, it is time to change this government. It is time to build a new globally competitive economy with the MPP under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Our immediate goal, fellow Ghanaians, is to make Ghana the most people-friendly and business-friendly economy in Africa. MPP budgets will therefore be driven by this underlying objective. We have an alternative vision and policy framework. We recognize that the economic management must move side by side with an institutional framework of good governance. The following policies will be critical in building this new economy. First of all, in the area of governance, Ghana must put in place an effective legal framework to make sure that politicians on all sides are discouraged from wreaking havoc on the people of Ghana for their own selfish interests. We need a legal framework to anchor fiscal discipline. The passage and enforcement of a Fiscal Responsibility Act that has bite will be important in this regard if it is supported by political will. So, under Nana Akufo-Addo government, we will pass such a law. To enhance transparency, a world-class right to information bill will also be passed. The current bill is still languishing. We hope it should be passed soon. We want a right to information law, and we will pass it, immediately, should it not be passed before the end of next year.
The chief executive of the Youth Employment Agency, Vincent Kwagbenu, is leaving his post amidst a trail of controversy over his management style and his alleged discrimination against persons with disability. A statement from the presidency ordered Mr. Kwagbenu to hand over and return to the Flagstaff House, where he was previously assigned, next week. On Wednesday, one of his subordinates at the Youth Employment Agency, Jacob Adongo Atule, told Joy FM Super Morning Show in Accra that Mr. Kwagbenu's management style left much to be desired.
In my case, he said, I told you people that I will not work with persons with disabilities. I told you people that I will not work with persons with disabilities. And that the president did not consult me when the appointment was made. And so, if you go around parading yourself as a deputy CEO, you do that at your own risk. These were the things he told me. Two of the people with disabilities went to his office, and according to them, they met him at the reception, and that was where the conversation went on. But let me say that those 14 people he's talking about, they were interviews, properly carried out by the Public Services Commission for them when he was not CEO. You see, the point is that, whatever happened, whether he was CEO or not, it shouldn't be invalid, because he's supposed to inherit assets and liabilities per the law that establishes the Youth Employment Agency. He's supposed to inherit both assets and liabilities. So if you come and your predecessor have done an interview, has caused the public service to duly constitute and have done an interview and have recruited them, and the presidency have directed that the minister gets them into those places, and the minister have also directed that the board recruits, immediately appoint those people, and for 2 months now, the appointment is not done. They come to your office and you tell them that they are incompetent. It is not me. I have alluded to you that it was not, he didn't say that to me. He said that to the people themselves. I want to put on record, and have stated that. It was when my letter I wrote to the minister complaining of the abuse and the fact that I was using an official vehicle, and he retrieved the vehicle and left me stranded on the road, that the disability movement met him to discuss the matter. And when they met to discuss the matter, he told them that GIDA was going through restructuring, and that if the restructuring goes through, they were going through employment restructuring. So if the restructuring finished, he will consider picking them. The minister issued a directive to him that, look, to, through your board, employ these people through the chief of staff. Why are they not being employed up to date? Actually, why are they not being employed?
It's a fair question to ask.
Meanwhile, Vincent Kwagbenu has dismissed the allegations against him. He says he has over the years worked with vulnerable people and that has not changed.
I only agreed to talk to you about the falsehood that is being peddled about my person, not saying I cannot work with disabled people.
Yes, well,
I told you on very many years that I've worked with disabled people. I hold a master's degree in social work, and as a social worker, I work with vulnerable and persons who are excluded in society. Laws are established to protect these people, and I've been an advocate since 1995. So it is on the strength of this that I feel that the public needs to know, but not for me to engage the Adongo on radio. I'm sorry.
You will recall Joy News' investigative journalist Manasseh Azuri unearthed massive rot at the Ghana Youth Employment and Entrepreneurial Agency, or GIDA, which is now known as Youth Employment Agency. Manasseh is with me in the studio to shed some more light on what is happening at YEA. Manasseh, good evening and thanks for joining us. Tell us, what do you know about the man Vincent Kwagbenu?
Well, Francisca, since this man went to YEA, formerly known as GIDA, a lot of things have happened. And my sources at GIDA are telling me that some people are really not happy with the way he's running affairs, and some of the things they say are just because of certain measures he's putting in place to stop what happened in the past with GIDA. Let's look at some of the things he has done so far, and some people are not happy. The first thing is he's saying that he's no longer going to engage private companies. We know when GIDA was running, private companies such as Zoomlion, RLG, and those companies, they were running the models. And what we discovered in our investigations showed that about 80% of the resources was going to these companies, and about 20 or so was going to the beneficiaries. This man says he's not going to do that again, and so he's working with state institutions such as the Ministry of Agric, Ghana Health Service, and Ministry of Health, the NVTI for the trainings and the rest. So some people who had interest in some of these contracts going to the private companies, I'm told, are not happy. When he took over too, I'm told he had to write to the Minister of Employment and Labor Relations, that's Mr. Haruna Idrisu, saying or asking him to stop procurement and awarding contracts on behalf of GIDA and YEA. And I'm told these were done when Mr. Kobie Champo was there, and he wrote saying that they should stop because GIDA or YEA is now an autonomous body. And within the process he went there, I'm told the minister again awarded a contract to an IT firm to develop a payroll software. And this man has vowed never to authorize payment for this particular transaction.
So it appears he's weeding out, the rot. Why then is he being recalled to the Flagstaff House?
Well, if you understand how GIDA runs, and someone I spoke to at GIDA this morning, what he said was, see, the man has done nothing wrong. Some people just want to make money. Next year is an election year. And when we did a GIDA investigation and subsequent reports that came out, we realized that if you took 2009, 2010, and 2011, the GIDA budget was equal. If you add the three, it was almost equal to that of 2012, which was an election year. And so during that period, a lot of things happened. And so it looks like, from what I'm hearing, this man is not allowing certain things to go as they used to be. And I'm even told that he has written to the District Assembly Common Fund Administrator, instructing him to stop paying Zoomlion, because this is a company that has done business with GIDA, and apparently they didn't have a contract.
Okay, away from that, how about the allegations of discrimination?
Well, he actually answered this question, and for GIDA, a lot of things are going on. A lot of people have been replaced, and some, I'm even told last week, the regional directors were replaced, and I think 2 or so weeks ago, we also had reports that the Northern Regional Director was fired. And so some staff rationalization is going on. So he denied that, but I just want to say, from what I know, many other persons or people within JIDA are shifting, so it's not like just one person.
Okay, so what's going to happen next with all of this?
Well, with JIDA, what I foresee is a lot happened in the past. And if they don't get a strong person to stand there or get into JIDA and stop things from happening the way they happened, I can tell you certain decisions were taken which Abu Gapele did not know about. But he was the coordinator of JIDA, now CEO. So what happened then can still happen, or the rot will not go away if they don't get a strong person who will ensure that at least these private companies are taken off and they allow the program to run. If that doesn't happen, I think we will have another
all
JIDA
eyes
scandal.
will be on the next person to be assigned to YEA. But thank you very much. That's investigative journalist Manasseh Azuri Awene joining us. We'll take a quick break and we'll bring you some business. Please stay. Hello again. Let's do business now with Atani joining us in the studio. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you? Looks like some good news for MTN.
Yeah, and especially for MTN subscribers, it's won the 4G service mandate, and that
spectrum.
And that means that for people who are subscribers, you're going to be having faster internet connectivity. Hooray!
Hooray!
All right. Okay, now MTN Ghana has emerged winner in the auction process for 3G spectrum pending the fulfillment of other requirements. The National Communications Authority (NC) announced this today after the auction process for the 800 MHz band for mobile services. More in this report. This is good news for especially MTN subscribers, as they could expect extra high internet speed and enhanced connectivity in the service. Joy Business has learned MTN won the bid on no contest basis. This is contrary to initial reports that the three other bidding companies, all Ghanaian owned, namely Surfline, Gold Key and Mixon, had each made an initial deposit of 10% of the $67.5 million floor price for the spectrum to participate in the auction. Sources say none of these companies were present for the auction because they failed to make this payment. Meanwhile, there were supposed to be two winners from the auction, and so it means one spectrum license is still outstanding. The NCA in a statement says it would take a decision on the other unallocated block in due course, adding that the auction was conducted under high security, overseen and managed by independent auctioneer KPMG. Former Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, has noted that the declining budgetary allocations to the agricultural sector is the reason for the poor performance of the sector. He explained real growth in the sector has stifled from 7.4% in 2008 to 0.04% in 2015.
One of the reasons why agriculture is not doing well is because of the paltry budget allocation to the sector. In 2009, 3% of the entire budget was allocated to agriculture. It climbed down to 1.9% in 2012 and 1.03% in 2013. In 2014, only 1.07% of the total budget allocation went to agriculture, out of a total of 44 billion Ghana cedis of the budget. For 2015, only 484 million, equivalent to 1.1% of the budget, is allocated to the two ministries of Food and Agriculture and Fisheries and Aquaculture Development. In 2016, the total budget figure of 50 billion is the allocation to the two ministries of Food and Agriculture and Fish and Aquaculture, equivalent to 1.1% of the entire budget. All these paltry allocations have been made against the background of the Maputo Declaration, which provides that governments in Africa must invest at least 6% of their annual budgets in agriculture.
Meanwhile, government has been urged to redirect a substantial amount of the country's oil and gas revenues into other sectors of the economy. This, according to Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, is imperative for sustainable development. About 39% of the country's oil resources is said to have been plowed back into the sector for capacity building, among others. But speaking with Joy Business Deputy Director Ben Boache said investing the country's oil and gas resources in agriculture, for instance, is the best way to go.
If you look at the over $3 billion that has come to Ghana so far, about 39% has been spent again in the oil and gas sector. You know, that means that 39% of revenue has gone to GNPC and Ghana Gas. You know, and the budget received only 28%. So it is that 28% that has actually gone into building schools, building clinics, building the roads, and spending and spreading so thinly. And the question you ask yourself is, why do we have to concentrate the expenditure of our oil revenues back into the oil sector? In other jurisdictions, what they have done is to diversify their economies, boost agricultural development, boost expenditure in education to make sure that you are training and building capacities to be able to take up the industry and also have capacity to live on their own. People need to have capacity to survive even beyond the oil and gas industry, and that's how other countries diversify. And then they leave the oil and gas industry to the private sector where private capital is actually interested in. But we are crowding out the private sector by investing our money back into the oil sector, competing for investment in the oil sector, and leaving the other social sectors where everybody is not interested in, to suffer. And that is a big, big challenge that we have to make sure that going forward, we do not repeat that kind of mistakes. But we can focus on diversifying our economy. If we had spent so much to boost the agriculture sector, we may not be talking about 0.4% growth in the agriculture sector today.
And the Ghana Revenue Authority has hinted of a significant increase in government's revenue following the implementation of the single window scheme at the country's ports. It's exactly 3 months since the introduction of the scheme, which saw customs take over its core mandate of classification and valuation of goods at the ports. The next phase of the scheme, expected to be fully functional exactly a year by now, was launched at the first National Single Window Stakeholder Conference, which opened yesterday. Commissioner General of the authority, George Blankson, says the initiative has improved the revenue collection.
Improvement in customs revenue following the takeover is something of great significance, because what it means is that over the years, because of certain weaknesses in the system we had prior to this new system that we have established, was creating some leakages that we have been able to plug following the takeover, the change that has occurred, which is the takeover by the Customs Division of the core customs functions.
That by how much? I mean, by how much are we looking at? Is it millions of Ghana cedis? How much exactly?
I wouldn't be in a position to give you precise figures. For the month of November, for example, we have noticed a significant, you may even call it tremendous increase. But we wouldn't want to jump the gun. The month ended only yesterday, so we are in the process of putting the figures.
Time now to advise you on where to invest this week, and John is here to help me with that. John, I see the market is still slow. Standard Chartered is the only equity trading, and it's even lost.
Exactly. So today we're seeing some pickup in terms of liquidity going forward, because if you compare from Monday till date, okay, yesterday was about 24,000 equities trading. Today we've seen almost about 197,222 trading.
Right.
But we had in all about 14 equities trading of the day or in the day. But the point is that it's only Standard Chartered Bank which actually moved the market a bit. But the point is, unfortunately, it lost 5 pesos to close to about 16.30 pesos. That's exactly what it is on the market. But the point is that gradually the market is regaining its liquidity contraction that it suffered over the period.
Okay.
The fact
Which
is
is
that
a good thing.
It is a good thing, but if liquidity moves the market, then it's good. But if it's not moving, like I always say, there's a market of about 35 equities.
Right.
If only one is trading or only one moving the market, that is quite unfortunate. But one of the reasons that most of the large scale or the big investors aren't actually trading, okay, they're leaving the market to the retail investor to actually do the trading, who are not actually carrying that much weight. So that's exactly what it is.
And the commodity market, I'm worried, gold is still losing.
Gold has been losing over the period, but this time I think it's been quite consistent. And
what's accounting for this?
One key reason I'll assign to this particular drop in price of gold is about the fact that, you know, India happens to be the biggest or the largest consumer of gold globally or in the world.
Right.
Okay, and over the period, they've been advised, or especially the ladies have been advised to actually go low on the consumption of jewelry. So I think this has been part of the reasons why gold has actually been dropping, and also the fact that dollar is actually gaining momentum in terms of value. A lot of investors are rather saving their money in dollars instead of the gold. So I think that has been some of the dynamics on the market. Right. But according to, the currencies as well, it's also trending that same way. The dollar today did not see that much in terms of movement. We had some stability with the dollar. The pound gained against the Ghana cedi for today, and the euro gained somehow against the Ghana cedi. But then the Chinese yuan, watch it. Now it's part of the top 5. It's coming crazy. Today gained against the Ghana cedi, just about some few pesos to the yuan. It's been quite consistent over the period, and I think going forward we are waiting to see how it actually move on.
Well, compared to yesterday, today was a good picture.
It's been very good, but not as strong as it started the month. Okay, but moving on. You know, China is quite somehow, some way, the way they manage their economy. They don't practice that kind of practice. They don't have that practice we have in Ghana. They can easily sit and choose what rate to actually change their money.
But we are hopeful. We are hopeful.
Exactly. So I thought that has been the market.
All right. Thank you, John. On that note, we wrap up with business. My name is Atani Delali.
You're still watching Joy News Prime on your multi-TV. As you may have heard from the business segment, telecom giant MTN would be rolling out a faster mobile internet service in the coming months. This is after it won a 4G or LTE license from the National Communications Authority on Wednesday. The NCA saw MTN's bid as superior to those from companies like Surfline and Gold Key. So what does this mean for the mobile internet service on your phone? Our telecoms correspondent Samuel Dona explains.
MTN has won one of the spectrum blocks. You know, we know that there is a 800 megahertz band that is being auctioned, and there are 3 blocks in there. The 3rd block is not being auctioned yet, but we went in for this auction. We are auctioning 2, and the 2 are, each of them are 2 times 10 megahertz blocks. And so there were 4 people that went in the MTN, Surfline, Gold Key, and then Mixing Communications. And MTN emerged as the winner of one of the blocks. My understanding is that the other block, it seems, we are not very clear on that, but then it seems nobody could make an offer enough to be able to get it. So the NCA says they are going to take a decision as to what to do with it. Remember, one block is costing, the floor price for each block is $67.5 million. That's a lot of money. And so for you to win, you should have offered something above 67, and of course the auctioneers are going to give a price which is way above the 67 anyway, and then you make an offer between what the auctioneers will give and then the floor price, and so now they are going to weigh whose price is higher, and then one person emerges, and MTN has emerged as one. And so once they won one, it means they cannot run for the second one. So now the 3 were supposed to have run for the second one, but the NCA is telling us that they have to take a decision on it. We don't know what that means.
What does it mean for MTN, it's the other competitors, and generally for us Ghanaians?
MTN has got over 50 million customers. Okay, and that's a huge number. That's almost like 50% of telephone users in Ghana. I mean, subscriptions, if I may say, in Ghana. And what we need to do as a country at this stage is to make sure that 4G is widespread, because technology advances, technology becomes obsolete. Today, nobody talks about 2G. 3G is also going out of vogue. Very soon, 4G is going, because why? We are talking about 5G in the next 2 years. in fact, the next World Cup or Olympic Games or so, they are talking about using 5G. You understand? So why do we wait? Okay, and not you. So MTN, the reason, my understanding is that the reason they went in there is to get the spectrum that will allow them to make 4G widespread and affordable. So that is what it is. 50 million customers, man. I mean, so if MTN is going to go 4G, it means that a lot more Ghanaians are going to have, access to 4G. That's what it means. Number two, it means that we are going to have more innovative services like mHealth, mobile health, mobile education, mobile agric, and so much more. So I mean, in a big way, that is what it means. It also means that now we have money to go to carry on with our digital migration.
A group calling itself Coalition of Concerned Residents of the Upper West region has demonstrated over the delay in the payment of their deposits by DKM Microfinance Company. The group wants government and the Bank of Ghana to freeze the assets and accounts of directors and senior management staff of the company pending the full repayment of clients' deposits. Leader of the group, Amos Doda, has been speaking to Joy News.
Request that the state security agencies follow due process of law to trace and freeze the properties, assets, accounts of directors, senior management staff of DKM, and their relations, pending full payment of client deposits.
It's true.
Additional request that the Bank of Ghana, Government of Ghana, MPs and the DKM take necessary and immediate actions to ensure that clients themselves and clients' children or wards and other dependents who could not continue their education because of the deposit hold-up get back to school.
Yeah. Rafiq Salam is our man on the beat and joins us on the telephone. Rafiq, good evening to you. Tell us about the turnout for this demonstration.
Unofficial figures in the Upper West region have checked the number of people who are with DKM to be about 10,000. And so yesterday, it is prepared towards this morning demonstration. But in the morning, when we got there, only 19 people came out to demonstrate. They were the people who started from KG Sport. We called that place Harris Fair of UDS. And then from there, they marched from that place, moved to some principal street before they converged in front of the World Sports Stadium to deliver the petition to read it to the journalists who were right there.
Rafiq, what more are the protesters asking for?
The protesters are saying that they have gotten about some 9 points who came through the media, and for them, they are to further due process to freeze the property.
Very well, we'll leave it here. That's Rafiq Salam from the Upper West region. Apologies for the poor telephone line there. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Francisca Kakrafos. We'll take a quick break. Some international news coming up. It's time to find out what you've been talking about on social media, and I'm joined in the studio by Efwa Akwa Harrison. Efwa.
Good evening, Francisca.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Well, we'll be talking about the MPP's Mahamudu Bawumia. He's trending on social media. The latest corruption perception index is out, and Ghana is second place. But are you surprised?
Issue. I think Nigeria is first, because it's not fair to say Ghana is second and Nigeria is third. It's not fair, not at all.
Not fair, not at all. Well, tell us what you think. And investigative journalist Anas Arimiyawa Anas has been named in a list of 100 leading global thinkers. Catch me with your comments on Interactive in a bit. Francisca.
All right, thank you, Efwa. I can't wait to get all the details. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Francisca Kakrafos, and let's take another look at our top stories. Shock and horror as a family of 5 is killed in what is believed to be an acid attack in New Drabing. Vice presidential candidate of the NPP, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, tears the government's economic policy statement for the year 2016 apart, saying the Mahama administration has only been competent at running down the economy. In their continuing protest against a new policy on exam resits, students of Wesley College in Kumasi have smeared human excreta on some of their classrooms. And MTN wins 4G spectrum auction, the first major telecom provider in the country to be offered an LTE license in Ghana. Under fire, Chief Executive of the Youth Employment Agency fends off allegations of mismanagement and discrimination. Thanks for staying. This is Joy News Prime. Now, students of the Ghana School of Survey and Mapping have staged a protest in Accra to kick against the sale of the land on which the school is sited. Government is reportedly planning to lease part of the land to a private developer for the construction of what is believed to be either a shopping mall or an office complex. The students are demanding that if this is the case, then the school needs to be permanently relocated.
The Ghana School of Survey and Mapping currently has about 500 students. Since the announcement of the construction of the shopping mall by a private developer, students of the school have been protesting. The latest pushback is a petition which was presented to the Clerk of Parliament, Emmanuel, to be forwarded to the Speaker of Parliament. SRC President of the school, Daniel Agbamaji, said the students need a permanent location with all the necessary facilities.
The resolution of the students. From the above, the union and the students have resolved that if the Lands Commission insists on moving us, this can only happen when they have made provisions for a site registered in the name of the school with well-constructed classroom buildings, hostel rooms, computer laboratory, school library, administrative office, auditorium, sport facilities which meet the standards of the National Accreditation Board and NATES for re-accreditation. There should also be enough space to enhance the hands-on survey and mapping practicals. 2. The proposal to reside the school temporarily at the valuation and estate division premises by management need consideration in terms of safety and health, since the area falls within the flight zone. 3. Students passing out of Ghana School of Survey and Mapping immediately gain employment or become self-employed. They are therefore not members of any unemployed graduate association springing up in the country.
Meanwhile, the president of the Ghana Union of Professional Students, Elon Mauli Kwao, has disclosed that the students will head to court if government fails to address their concerns.
Now, this is just one of the first of extreme measures that we'll be applying. We have exhausted all the diplomatic avenues, the letters we have written, the meetings we have had, the calls we have made, and petitions we have submitted to the necessary stakeholders. Now, this is what I called diplomatic radicalism. This is the first one. The second one, after the 1-week ultimatum we've given to the Parliament of the Republic, we would move to the High Court, file an application on notice, get a restraining order to prevent any development on the land until they accept our position paper on what we want for the students. That's the way to go from henceforth.
On his part, Emmanuel, who received the petition, promised to present the petition to the Speaker of Parliament for appropriate action to be taken.
Parliament has started interrogating officials of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation (GNPC) over some payments to 4 former executive employees of the corporation. Information gathered by Joy News suggests a member of the board confirmed receipt of a memo from the legal team, but told the committee it did not direct them to stop the payment of the ex gratia. Joy News' parliamentary correspondent Emmanuel caught up with the chairman of the committee after the meeting on Wednesday afternoon.
Honorable. Oh, yeah. You just finished the meeting. Yes, a very successful meeting. We are still discussing. We requested for some documents which they are bringing, but everything is going on very smoothly. others' understanding. We will hope that by next week we would have concluded, because the documents would have to come and support whatever has been said.
What kinds of documents are you looking for?
Oh, we are looking for documents regarding the whole process, regarding, how payments and what have you, and conditions of service, statute, and other things to show that, yes, these things were all done legally or whatever it is. So far, it's been okay. We are satisfied. We are satisfied.
Have they also responded to?
I'm saying that we've requested for all documents that relate to that. And since we are here with you, we are getting those documents by Monday, and so by Wednesday we'll come out with a position on it, all of us.
But how do you find?
I'm saying that we cannot. They've said it, and we've asked them to back it up with documents. It is not about mandate. If you say yes, you have the mandate, where are you getting that mandate from? So if it is the collective bargaining agreement, we need it. Who just said they are bringing it. So that's why I'm saying that, yes, for now, everything seems to be on course. So let us wait. When the documents arrive on Monday, we would all interrogate it. The committee will be meeting again to take a final decision on Wednesday. But so far, everything is okay. It's going on smoothly. The result is that we want to know what is happening so that everybody will be satisfied. The monies that were paid or supposed to be paid, is it okay? Yes, that is the end. That's all. The end result is that everybody must be satisfied. Ghanaians must be satisfied that whatever is happening is lawful. And that's all.
Minority spokesman on Mines and Energy, KT Hammond, said the GNPC team, which appeared before the Parliamentary Committee, failed to provide satisfactory answers.
Satisfied with the meeting, the outcome of the meeting?
Oh, no, we couldn't have been satisfied because it didn't conclude. I saw you talking to the chairman. I guess he indicated that they've been asked to provide a considerable lot of evidence. And so I think that they will come back and then supply us with the details that the chairman has asked for. We couldn't have been satisfied. It's obviously a very difficult and serious situation. So we haven't come anywhere near a conclusion of the issues that are at stake.
The chairman gave us the impression that everybody is satisfied with everything that went on there, that you have made progress.
We have made some progress, yes, but he couldn't have said that everybody is satisfied. No, he definitely couldn't have said that. No. I mean, he said that he was satisfied as to what? I mean, some progress has been made. There have been some statements here and there, but certain other fundamental issues are outstanding. And
some of these fundamental.
I wouldn't want to be drawn on those. I guess at least I agree to the point that what happened there should remain there. So we don't want to break ranks. But there are very many serious outstanding issues. We've asked them to go and clarify. Apparently, the notice inviting them to come to this place reached them very late yesterday in the evening. So in the process, they couldn't put their documentation together. So obviously, it's fair to allow them to go and prepare and then come back.
You're watching Joy News Prime, and you don't want to change that dial because in a bit, Miss G will bring us entertainment. Please stay. Don't you just love that song?
I love Mansa, but unfortunately I'm not a Mansa,
Neither am I. But welcome, Miss G. It's time for entertainment.
I love this top, I wish I was your size,
You. Well, let's talk about Hits FM's DJ competition.
Yes, Hits FM's hottest DJ is in the second phase now, and it's started with 32 contestants. Yes, the 32 are still running to be placed among the 15 contestants who will go for the semi-finals. The competition is ongoing, and we spoke to some contestants and the DJ who is the DJ of Cruise Control.
The first time we give them the platform to put their act up to show us what they got. And this is the round 2 where we actually get to do eviction. we had to get them acquainted with the equipment and everything, get used to our system and everything. Now we're at eviction stage. So if you saw what happened today, one DJ got evicted, and tomorrow we evict another until we get the 12 finalists, who will make it to the next level.
I'm sorry, DJ Kobe may not be able to join us next week.
So congratulations, DJ Bola, and congratulations, DJ Josh. You made it to the next round of the competition. Congratulations to you. And sorry, DJ Kobe, you couldn't make it.
You're the first to be evicted. It's not easy. I know it's not fun, but tell me, how does it feel like?
No, it's a competition and it has to happen, and it has happened.
But were you expecting it though? Were you expecting to be the first to be evicted from the competition?
Not really, not really.
Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry to him, but better luck next time.
Let's talk about Daddy Lumba.
No, Francisca, how many times have you heard rumors that Daddy Lumba is dead?
I can't even count.
You can count, but Daddy Lumba says each time people put publications out there that he is dead, they cause panic in his family. Definitely. Because some of his children are outside the country. His wife is also outside the country, and so sometimes it is very sad to hear people talk about the fact that he's dead, even when he's alive. Says Jesus Christ died once, but Daddy Lumba, has died too many times,
Well, he says,
yeah,
those spreading rumors.
Yeah,
Now, most influential women, there's a list up in Yvonne Nelson, Jocelyn Dumas, Yvonne Okoro. Where's your name?
Oh, I was just going to ask you that, when am I going to find your name in that list,
Mine will come after yours.
Oh, okay. So, 250 most influential women have been mentioned by Richtopia.com. It's a UK-based online, survey put together after an algorithm of their savviness on social media. So, Hillary Clinton tops the list, and then Oprah Winfrey follows. But here in Ghana, we have Yvonne Nelson at 113th, and then Jocelyn Dumas follows at 179, and then we have Yvonne Okoro at 189. We spoke to Yvonne Nelson and Yvonne Okoro about their enlistment, and they both are excited about it.
It's humbling. It's an honor because, to be mentioned amongst these great women, wow, like sometimes you just look at yourself like, wow, really? So it's really humbling for me, and I would only thank God, to bring in this one. I didn't even know it was something that they've been doing on social media. I don't know. I also saw tweets from some of the people as well on the list. Some of these great women, they had tweeted and they had said thank you and all of that. So I was like, wow, this is really cool.
It's weird. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking, all these, when you hear something like this, you only dream of it, before you enter into action, or even when you're into it. You always think, you look up to people like Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama, classy ladies like that, and you think that when are you ever going to get there? And then you're told that you've reached that kind of status, almost, not really, but then you're as influential as they are, then it's icing on the cake. It's almost surreal.
Okay. All right, so Iyanya has been speaking on a TV show,
yes.
Getting Personal.
Yes, and it's always exciting when you do a story about Yvonne Nelson and then you move to Iyanya. The connection is that real, and everybody wants to hear what he has to say about Yvonne and what also Yvonne says about him. But this time around, the Nigerian superstar has been granting an interview on the Breakfast Club in Nigeria. Now, he talks about his relationship with Yvonne Nelson. It was alleged that he actually dogged, like we say, Yvonne Nelson because she had much more attention than he did anytime they stepped out to town. Now, he also talked about his relationship with a lady who is a model called Frida Francis. And then, guess what? The craziest thing he's ever received, or message he's ever received on social media.
What was that?
That's how crazy some fans can be, Whoa.
Okay, some people are mixing business with pleasure, or pleasure with business.
Both ways, Chidima and Flavor Nabania. Chidima is a winner of Project Fame reality show in Nigeria, and Flavor Nabania, who says is not ready to settle down, have a collaboration. The song is titled Ololufe.
So they are working?
Yes, they're working.
Yes, they are kissing.
And they're kissing right on stage. After performing the song so perfectly, the two decided to give themselves. Let's applaud ourselves for doing a good work. So look at them.
Whoa.
Angela.
nice to get a kiss from somebody special.
Okay.
While you're working or at the end of the work.
Okay, so Israel, where are you?
For who?
For you.
For who? Me? You?
You're saying it's nice to get a kiss, so I'm looking for someone who could give you that kiss. Of course, I can't do that.
Let's move on. Let's talk about Ramsey.
Now, Ramsey Noah has been sharing stories from his childhood. He talks about the fact that when he was young, his father disowned him even before he was born, and his mother had to squat in a kiosk with him. Now, he says the kiosk was that small that even a mat couldn't go in there, and so they had to squeeze in there. So he looks back today, having risen to fame and all the things that he can afford, and he says, look, it couldn't have been anyone but God. So he's, you know, just being grateful.
Glory be to God.
Exactly. So we are happy for him, you know. But for, you know, Ramsey, I'm not sure we'll see all those cute fair guys on set.
Hey, Miss G, what are you insinuating?
Oh.
Anyway, Madonna performs at 02 Arena.
Yes, earlier
How
this
did it
year,
go?
in February, Madonna performed at the Brit Awards, and she fell off stage. She toppled over, you know, while she was performing, and she's back there on the same set at the O2 Arena in London. And this time around, it went perfectly well. We put together, you know, some visuals from the last performance, and now.
It's now time for sports. I'm joined by Gary L.
The
Smith.
dancing Gary L. Smith.
Well, by the way, I really love your suits.
Thank you.
You always look good.
And on that score, why don't we do what's the name? Flavor and come here.
No way. Thank you very much. I know you're going to talk about Valencia. They have a new coach.
His name is Gary Neville.
Just like you, Gary.
Yes, just like me.
Okay.
And he's as brainy as I am. Just as cerebral and even better. Thank you. May I?
Sure.
Right, so time for the sport now here on Joy News Prime. Hello, my name is Gary L. Smith, and as Francisca intimated, Valencia in La Liga have a new manager. It's ex-Manchester United defender Gary Neville. He won praises from Sky Sport on his appointment. No surprises there because he's been working for them. However, his appointment has raised a lot of questions because it's his first job, first big job, and for a club like Valencia, which is big in La Liga, it's pretty deep for them to choose him. Let's get the highlights.
Gary Neville's been appointed as head coach of Valencia until the end of the season. He'll continue as part of Roy Hodgson's England coaching staff. Well, David Moyes is the most recent British manager in La Liga. Real Sociedad sacked him 3 weeks ago. The current Wales manager, Chris Coleman, has 6 months in charge of Real Sociedad between his spells at Fulham and Coventry. Sir Bobby Robson won the Copa del Rey and the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup in his season at Barcelona. John Toshak managed Real Sociedad in 3 different decades, as well as spells at Real Madrid, Deportivo and Murcia. And Colin Addison had spells in charge of Celta Vigo, Cadiz, Barrios in the 80s and 90s. Here's what Neville has had to say. Sky has probably been one of the best decisions I have ever made. Simply an incredible job that I have loved doing. The team that I have worked with on match days and M&F have been simply unbelievable. Their knowledge of the game, their passion, their work ethos has made me love football more. No one understands football better than Sky Sports, so it's been no surprise that they have fully supported and understood the decision that I have made to go to Valencia for the next 5 months.
Sky Sports Managing Director Barney Francis said this: "We wish Gary all the very best as he returns to football with our blessing and begins his managerial career with Valencia. He will always be a friend of Sky Sports and we look forward to following the next chapter of his career closely, not least during our weekly La Liga coverage. And of course, the door will always be open should he wish to return."
From one Gary to another, good luck, Gaza. Anyway, back to the local league, and Heart of Oak are on the verge of signing Daniel Ejay from Liberty Professionals. We understand that the deal has not been finalized yet. However, it will be done soon.
As we commence talks with him, we are hoping to get him on board. He's one of the goalkeepers that we've contacted, wanting him to get on board. But because we've not finally agreed on the financial position of both parties, we are yet to conclude it.
And is he ready to move to the club if a deal is reached? Has he expressed that interest to join the club?
Yes, we spoke to him. He has expressed his delight to join Heart of Oak. He's hoping that everything will be concluded on time for him to join Heart of Oak in the preseason. But once again, it all depends on the finances.
Sorry about that abrupt cut. I was just saying before that insert that the delay in the start of the league might affect the Phobians We still don't know when the Ghana Premier League, the next season, will be starting. The GFA have said tentatively it's going to be on the 20th of next month, and the Premier League board have also mooted a 10th January date. And according to Opariado, who you just heard, the PRO of Hearts of Oak, this might be a problem.
If you look at our performance last season, we think that some of the reasons that could not help Hearts of Oak perform consistently is because of the delay in the league. Herbertado went into the preseason. He had a lot of period to train the squad for about 3 months. So when the team got to its peak, then the league did not start. So before the league started, then the players, the decline started setting in, and it affected the team so well. But I think that we've taken a clue from that. We've told Coach Kenny about it. So he's planning systematically so that even if the league does not start on the 20th, which I know will not probably start, then it wouldn't affect his team. So the training is such that it will get into January for the players to hit their peak before the competition will start.
So he says he's not sure that the league will start on the 20th. Well, we wait and see. But former coach of Hearts of Oak at the start of last season, Herbertado, is now in charge of Inter Allies. Now, he says that to maintain players for next season for his new club, he must do everything possible to improve on how they are playing so that the club's fortunes will be going on the up and up when the season starts.
Of course, it's a worry. You lose maybe 8 or 10 of your top players, and then you have to start afresh. And in Europe, top clubs, they lose a player, they replace him with the same standard or thereabouts. So they don't have much problem. But we have to train them. We have to train them. The players have to really coach them, train them, coach them psychologically, physically, technically, tactically, everything. At the same time, the results have to be there.
So do you have the best of players in camp to compete, God willing, this season?
Next season, if we stay in the league, we maintain these players, I think things will change a lot. So I'm really praying that the players we have will be disciplined, tactically, self-discipline, everything.
So that's new Inter Allies boss Herbert Ado. Let's go outside the country now, and in boxing, Tyson Fury is the new heavyweight champion that you may know after his exploit of beating Vladimir Klitschko on Saturday. And he took his titles, the WBA, WBO and IBF, home for his wife to hold.